What's up, guys? It's the Queen Sugar After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV, Season 1, Episode 9, Next to Nothing. I'm next to someone right here. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Get that one.
Get it.
I just love how smooth it is.
Oh, the mood
Oh,
lighting too.
mood lighting too?
Wow.
All right.
Yeah, ready for a show tonight.
I don't know if we're doing a show tonight or what's going on, but I feel like we should get started before
Looks like my buddies are coming
before
out
Omari
already.
starts unbuttoning his shirt.
Button up.
What is happening
Button
right
up.
now? Hello, everyone. I'm Tiona Hobson. Thank you for joining us tonight for Queen Sugar. We've got a very special guest with us tonight, Dondre Whitfield.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am well.
Remy is here, guys, and we're going to talk all about Chimmy because I feel like, as you said, this is like you guys' song.
I think this is our song right here. Yes.
I love it. And
Yes.
as always, I've got Ryan Graham with me
Hey, what's up? My name is Ryan Graham. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 N's Graham.
and Omari Bailey.
And you can follow me on Twitter and IG at OnWithOmari, also on Snapchat at Omari B.
Sorry, this song.
I know,
Yeah,
I just
let's
so,
go.
Let this
come
soak
on
in.
for
Let
a
this
while.
one sink in.
Gotta let it marinate.
they don't make them like this anymore.
No.
Okay, so I mean, I have a whole list of things to talk about, but I just really want to talk about Chimmy. So, because that's where my
everybody
heart
does.
lives right now. So that's just all I
Love
want to
it.
talk
Me and
about.
Tiana love
Love it.
Chimmy. Ryan,
I
on the
know.
other hand.
I think I'm just like.
I think we should get this. Let's get the elephant out in the open
Okay.
right
Wait.
now.
Oh, let's do it.
We
yeah.
just need to
Alright,
start
we're
with the
gonna
big
start there.
elephant.
I
We're
don't-
starting
he
with
has
your
no idea
elephant.
what we're talking about.
Okay.
Break
So
it
I've
down.
had a theory all season long.
Okay.
Because I feel like every character has had some type of drama or something except for Remy. Remy's the only one who's kind of scot-free. So I feel like Remy's holding this secret, and I think is that he is Ernest's son, and that him and Charley are brother and sister, and it's a weird, like, Game of Thrones type of relationship.
It's very weird what you just said.
Is it?
Thank you.
Weird?
Thank
But
you.
I'm-
Thank you. God, we've been trying to tell you.
Wait,
this,
he
dude.
didn't say wrong. Weird is not wrong.
Please, can we end this now?
I would. I can. Usually, I would say I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I can confidently say I can absolutely deny that.
Thank you. Can we get some claps, please?
Thank you.
After 9 episodes,
9
finally,
episodes,
we can
fine.
end this
I-
Are
theory.
we
Let it
finally
go.
done with this theory?
I was holding out. I was like, I'm gonna be right, and okay, I was
Every
wrong.
week, no matter
Whatever.
who came
Did.
in here, he's
Sure
like,
did.
I still think it's
I
true.
sure did.
I still
That's
think it's
hilarious.
true.
That's
Last
hilarious.
week, they're on a
With
wicker
Kobe.
chair lying together,
Nah, it's like-
and he's like, nah, they brother and sister.
That's funny. Well,
guys.
let's think about this for a second.
Okay. No, we don't
I know
have
we
to.
live in an age where we try not to use logic, particularly during this electoral race.
Hey,
But that would absolutely mean that Remy is a completely sick pup because he knows he's Ernest's child. And then he knows that Charley is his child. And then he's like, don't care.
She's
Going
hot.
for the sister anyway.
I binge watched Game of Thrones before this, so that was just fresh on the brain. I was like, nope, it's
Now
gotta
you're
be
blaming
happening.
on Game of
I
Thrones.
do. It is.
At
Whatever.
least
So what have we learned here tonight?
Okay.
We've learned stop watching Game of Thrones. All right.
Got it. Okay.
Stop watching-
Poison your
Done and
mind.
done.
Yeah.
It
Done
will
and
poison your mind.
Stop watching Game of Thrones. Start watching Queen Sugar.
Yes.
Only
Right.
exclusively watch
That's right.
Queen Sugar.
That's right.
Okay. I'll
Because they live in a real world scenario,
Hey.
not one with flying
And not
dragons.
the alternative one.
But I will
Hey, guys,
I will give
whatever.
Ryan a little bit of his whole thing is he
was
thinks
creative.
it's creative,
Thank you.
but I
It was
think
creative.
the bigger picture is he thinks that Remy's hiding something. He
right,
thinks Remy's
more
too
so.
good.
He is. He's too good.
He's too
and I'm like,
perfect,
I don't
he
know.
thinks.
Something.
Is there such thing as too good?
Always. Whenever something is too good, there's four.
Drake
Well, you know
Honestly.
what? It's very interesting that you would say that because sometimes you hear women say, "Yeah, I don't want to be with him. He's too good. He's too nice."
Right.
Mm,
I've heard that
is
before. You're too
interesting.
nice.
Which is pretty interesting because you go, "Well, you would never say that."
I would never
Thank
say
you,
that.
Jesus. Okay, so because I always have that. Whenever I hear that, I go, "Wow, this is a woman that we really need to sit down and have a discussion with.
It's kind of sad.
Well,
Yeah.
here's
Broken.
my thing is that I've had it the opposite way where guys always tell me, you're the girl that I'm supposed to marry, you're the girl that I'm supposed to take home for mom, so I can't be with you right now. I have to go over
Get it
here.
in.
And I'm like, well, I'm still waiting.
No, don't wait.
Still
No,
over
no.
here.
Guess
like,
what?
hello.
Let me tell you something. That guy did you a favor.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
And he had enough
Preach.
respect for you. It's actually a great compliment.
Or a cop out.
Yes.
It's well, depending.
Could be.
But
Could
be.
it
Depending.
sounds like knowing what I know so far. Hey, relax, Omar. Where are we going with this? I'm trying to give the sister some props here.
See what I have to
This
deal
is-
with?
I gotta
yeah,
try, I gotta
yeah,
try.
I'm like, that's awful.
I'm the only girl here just defending myself.
That's
Whatever.
a lot of respect for a guy to come and say, hey, you know what? I'm not in that space where I'm responsible enough to do with you what I know I should do, which is to be a man and to be responsible, because I'm out here running these streets. So let me go run these streets. That's respect. That's respect.
Yeah, I was happy you did that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of running the streets, you've been running this game for a while. You
Yeah.
started at the Cosby Show, in the Cosby Show. Was that your first time
First.
ever?
How was that working with a legend, Bill
I
Cosby?
can't even describe it. It was like I can't even. I still 3 decades. Ooh, that hurts.
It's all right.
No, you gotta own
okay.
that. To be
You
3
don't look it.
decades,
You don't look it. So.
not
consistent
at all.
work.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It literally. I mean, I didn't do any extra work. I didn't do like a bit part. No commercial. Literally first job.
Oh, wow.
I was still living around the way in Brooklyn, in Bushwick, where I grew up. Still having fights while I was actually doing that show,
Yeah.
which was pretty incredible.
Right.
You know, because and sometimes people ask me, they say, "What's some of the best work you've ever done, you know, in your career?" And I always come back to doing the Cosby Show.
Cosby Show.
Because Robert was this
classic.
character that was so innocent, and you know, he had all these great sweaters. I had no sweaters.
They didn't let you
Sweater
keep
game
the
was
sweaters?
strong.
They didn't let you keep the sweaters?
Oh no, no, you give me that. So I was playing this character that was so unlike me, and even though I was 15, playing 13, but because I grew up where I grew up, I was 15. But when you grow up in the street like that, you're almost at that age. You're like kind of like 20,
Yeah.
because
Life
you have to
experience.
learn how to navigate the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Being in that space and then coming and playing this like innocent baby-faced, you know, like character who, you know, was so adored by like, you know, people,
Yeah.
and you know, and then, you know, juxtapose that to Brooklyn Dre, which that's my alter ego. Who, you know, would have to go and do
What you
Brooklyn
gotta do.
stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying you got skills.
That's for
You're-
sure.
So I guess like
Sure.
having
Amazing actor.
that juxtaposition in real life was that kind of like, did that cause tension in the neighborhood and stuff like that? Like were people like jealous of that? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, first of all, it was already an automatic fight before I even got on the show, because I was light skinned with curly hair when there was hair. Light skinned with curly hair, that was an invitation to a fight every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're like, oh, you think you cute? And I'm like, no, actually, I'm I'm like,
trying
if
to
you
go to
got a
school.
problem, that's with my mother and father. I had nothing to do with this.
I'm sorry. What did
I
you
got
do?
good genes.
Yeah, I'm like, I apologize,
Right.
but, you know,
Hey, they're all good genes.
yeah, all genes back.
All genes.
And literally, like, it turned up after I did the Cosby Show, because then, you know, oh, now you really think you cute.
Yeah.
So, I found myself fighting a lot during that time, because, and not because I wanted to, but because I had to.
Right. So a lot of people in the neighborhood were giving you trouble, but the thing is, a lot of people don't know you left a show because you felt All My Children. You felt they weren't representing your struggle, the day-to-day life of Black Americans, accurately, or if you want to get into some of the reasons behind that.
I really felt like during that time, I felt like daytime television was really not ready to deal with the subject matter that we have to deal with nowadays.
Still happening.
And still having trouble doing that.
Right.
And I really felt like there were certain things, there would be no way that this character would be living in a place like Pine Valley and not have to deal with certain things that obviously he would have to deal with when his mom and his uncle and him are the only black folks in that area.
Yeah.
Right.
You'd have to experience something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to their credit, they did deal with an incident that my character was dealing with, working in a gym, and there was an incident, and it was racial. So I really felt I felt proud that in standing up for that particular portion of it, that they saw their way fit to to deal with it. And I thought that was very important, particularly in daytime television, because they don't do that.
Right.
Yeah. So that was good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, speaking of a show, sorry.
No, you're
Speaking
good.
of a
Sorry,
show,
no,
I was like,
I'm still like, it's all
Entranced.
absorbing in my mind.
well,
what's going
a show that
happening.
does deal with the issues that we see every day, Queen Sugar.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring it
Yeah.
back to where we are now presently. Go ahead.
Oh, so that's what I was
Ryan.
gonna say. So like, so going from that to today, when we are a little bit more free to talk about issues, how do you kind of feel about Nova's character specifically talking about some of the Black Lives Matter things that are going on? Like, do you, how does that reflect in your work, or do you appreciate that stuff in work, or do you want to do more stuff like that?
I totally appreciate that. It's one of the reasons why I absolutely adore, love, and respect Ava DuVernay. This is a specific device that she put into the show as a way to highlight things that we do have to deal with in our community
Right.
that really doesn't get the deserved attention and platform that it needs, in order for not only us to be more conscious of it, but for other people to become aware of it if they're not.
Right.
And what more powerful way to do that than on a show like this, and where you're not being beat over the head, it just happens to be sewn into the tapestry of the storyline.
Yeah.
And it's done so intelligently and so thoughtfully that it becomes palatable. You don't, you're not, repulsed by it. It doesn't repel you.
Right.
It literally draws you in, because now you get a chance to absolutely see the struggles between two sisters that seem to be so unlike each other. But as we move through this story, we actually get a chance to see that they have some great commonality.
Right.
In their spirit, their soul, like their connection that they've actually been fighting for so long.
Right.
But these are the devices that Ava does so intelligently and so seamlessly, and I love it. And I really have to say this, because I would be remiss if I didn't mention this portion of it. I've had a lot of people ask me, how do you feel doing this show that's so driven by women? The executive producers, the creators, the directors, including my wife, who directed 2 episodes.
Yeah.
How do you feel being a man in this kind of series? And what I love about it is that while it is driven by the voices and the points of view of women, it hasn't castrated the men.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Often you see stories that are created by women or that are driven by women, and they seem to strip the men down to like big boys.
Yeah.
And this show doesn't do that.
Right.
You look at Hollywood and the things that he's had to go through with Vi, and he's like unwavering. He's like, yo, I know I made a mistake, but yo, we supposed to be together.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be here, period.
No matter what.
You know, and even to in tonight's episode, spoiler alert. In tonight's episode, where he literally says, to her, "Look, I'm gonna tell you for the last time, you wrong." And we don't get a chance to see, particularly in our stories, stories of black and brown people. We don't get a chance to see men being men. We literally, it's almost a lost art. And even tonight when I was watching, and he said it, and it's so crazy because this show is so powerful that we've read all the scripts, we've done it, we know exactly what's happening. But something happens to us, the actors, when we watch it.
Because you don't see that.
Because you don't ever see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you do see it, even though you're a part of it, you're still like,
hits you.
whoa, what just happened? So when I saw him say, "Look, I'm gonna tell you this and it was full of strength, but it was the kind of strength that wasn't meant to diminish her.
Right.
It was in full blooming love. That I have to tell you this in order for you to graduate to a new space.
Right.
And that's what a man does.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I love about this. That's why I love Ava.
Ava, the Essence calls her the high priestess of black girl magic.
Get it?
I mean, but actually.
That's an
Get
appropriate.
it? That's
Yeah,
just
right?
the start.
Another thing that I think is cool, or another aspect of manhood that we see is fatherhood. The relationship between Blue and Ralph is so. And are we getting? I mean, I guess
No, we're just
absolutely
talking.
don't know.
No,
We're
no.
just
This is
talking
how
about
the show
the
is.
relationship between them is another like the black father figure, especially in recent TV, is either absent or seen
Abusive.
as abusive or like it's so negative. So it's amazing to see this beautiful relationship between a black father and a black son, and how not only is he a strong father, and like yes he has his mistakes, but like he still has those vulnerable moments, like when Blue is playing with the doll. Like I remember we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
It's just like
Very
to
sweet
show how
line.
he was just kind of like it's probably something he's like not necessarily happy about, but he still is like soft enough on Blue to like be like, hey, like maybe let's not do this, or like let me play with her today, and like kind of like put himself on that level. And I think it's beautiful to see a black father be so present and not this harsh figure that often black fathers are portrayed as in film and TV.
Totally, and I'm gonna take that, just piggyback that by saying that I think it's pretty awesome what Ava specifically has done with that character, with Ralph Angel, is that she's used him to remind society, or to even in some instances teach society that you are not the things that you have done, and that you can, it's possible for you to have made mistakes in choices that you make and actually be good also.
Thank you for saying
I know,
that.
I think I'm getting like a word today.
Appreciate that because
It's like,
I have to
this is a
say
lesson.
that as far as
Please,
Ralph
yeah.
Angel goes on this panel,
Oh gosh, here she goes.
I am the only one who stands up for him when he does make
Totally.
those mistakes and
Totally.
he kind of goes backwards. These
Totally.
two boys are so
well,
hard
when he
on
says
him.
it like that, I, mean, I feel
And
bad.
this is
now.
what I've been saying for the past 8 weeks.
Well,
you
you
guys just
didn't
weren't
say it like that.
listening.
You did
you just yelled at us. It was different.
You guys just weren't listening. I said it
had
just
to
like
break it
that.
down.
He watched episode 1 and then came in here and recited exactly what I said.
You know what's interesting? I'm glad that you said that because I actually said to Ava, Ralph Angel, oh wow, my daughter, one day my daughter and I did something really interesting. I had my daughter, while I was driving my kids to school one morning, I had her interview me on Facebook Live while I was driving them to school,
Yeah.
and to interview me about the show. And she did a phenomenal job. One of the questions that she asked that no other person has ever asked me in doing this show, she said, if you were not playing Remy, who would you want to play? And I said, wow, that's a great question. I'm like, she's 12, by the way.
Right. I got you.
I said, dude, that's a great question. Like, I literally had to sit there and think about that for a second. And I said, I guess it would be kind of awkward for me to say, like, a woman, right? She was like, that would be, I was like, okay, so we're not going to do that.
It's 2016. Though,
Yeah,
so.
I'm like, all right. I said it would have to be Ralph Angel.
Yeah.
Because Ralph Angel represents, to me, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the pilot episode, there's a scene where he leaves Blue
Yeah.
in the park. And he goes and he robs the convenience store.
Right.
And I'll never forget when I first saw that scene, how it absolutely just enveloped me because it was my father. And I was Blue. My father was in and out of jail my whole life. And it reminded me of the struggle that I'm certain that my father had, being young, not having proper guidance, making a few key mistakes, and then having a child. And now what do I do now?
Still happens.
And how do I take care of this child? And how do I father him when maybe I still need some fathering myself?
Yeah.
And that's Ralph Angel's story. So looking at Ralph Angel every week is like looking into the life of my father, or looking into the life of my uncle, who also had difficulties in life where he was incarcerated. So Ralph Angel for me is supremely important. And what Ava does with him is she lends humanity to our brothers who have been locked up.
Right.
And who have gotten out and who are now trying to find their way. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
sure.
he's just trying to find his way.
I know when he said
All
like
it
that.
is.
He's trying to find his way,
I
Guys.
take everything I
Maybe
said about
we'll
Ralph
lighten up
Angel
on
back.
Ralph
I'm
Angel. Because
sorry.
Kofi was here last week and I still felt the
Yeah.
same, but
No,
but now I feel like a little different.
I'll coach him through how
Yeah,
to
yeah.
tell Ralph Angel's story.
They kicked up on poor Kofi so bad last week. I was like, Kof, I don't know what to do. This is what I'm dealing with every
You're like,
week.
Kof, you gotta say
Kof,
something, dog.
Kof, this is your moment. Like,
Yes.
I brought you here. You got to defend your character
That's
now.
hilarious.
That's really interesting because I'm sure how many people watching this show share that same sentiment
Yeah,
that
for
you
sure.
have. So.
Because think about it. How many people do you know that don't know someone, a loved one, that has been incarcerated? Whether it's someone in your family or a friend or a friend of a friend, but you know someone. It's a degree of separation, if that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know somebody, you're like one person or two people away from someone who's been incarcerated. And can you imagine being judged for the rest of your life for a mistake that you
right.
made?
Especially if you watch the 13, the mistakes that sometimes
Oh,
are
dude.
placed. I know what I'm saying.
Don't even get me
Love it.
started.
I know. I love that. Like,
Ava-
anybody to watch
Ava's
that.
just she's
Good.
a genius. I even sent her a text message today, and I said, baby, 13th man, yo,
Yeah.
just
That's on Netflix, guys.
That's on
It
Netflix.
is.
You
Everybody
need
needs to watch
check
it.
it out.
you need to see that.
Yeah.
You need to see that. My black and brown folks, you need to see that for specific reasons. And my folks that are melanin
I was
challenged,
gonna say,
I need you to watch that because that is an education.
Yeah.
And I hope it is. I want you to be open to truth.
the 13th.
Yeah,
Netflix.
be open to
Very
truth.
good. Very, very good
Yeah,
documentary.
definitely.
All right.
Should we get to the episode?
Yeah,
I
we
feel
should
like
talk a little bit. We talk a little
What-
bit
what
about
are we here
happened.
talking
I'm
about?
sorry.
Where are we?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just like
We're
learning so
I
much
know,
right
like-
now.
So I want to
So
talk to you
wise
guys
over
about
here.
global warming.
I mean, we just be like, yeah, tell us
Yeah,
more.
I
What
mean,
else?
I'm just like, yes,
Teach
just keep
us.
talking. All right, so tonight we had a lot of things happen.
Yes.
It's the day after the storm, storm, and I'm just gonna jump straight to it because last week Remy and Charley fall asleep on the wicker chair together, and I wanted more to happen. I wanted more.
She made that very clear.
I made it very clear.
we got. There was a little kid in there. We got to.
I mean, but like, okay.
Also, it was wicker chairs. Like,
not
how?
gonna get that
Please
crazy.
tell me
I'm
how.
still trying to figure out how they both fit
Fit
on
on
the
it.
chair.
Also
but,
true.
hey,
Let me
you can
tell
get
you.
real creative. You know?
I don't
Make
know.
up some new positions or something?
I
I don't know.
I can't relate.
Y'all can talk about your sex playlist before the show starts.
Yes.
I started talking about sex positions, and then everyone's like, "Oh, I can't talk."
I don't know what they talk about. I was not talking about no sex.
No sex playlist. She's just making
I
up
don't know
stuff.
what they talk
Right.
about. I'm married.
Weird. So yeah.
He doesn't need a list. He's married.
I got 2 kids.
Yeah.
There's no more sex playlists.
That's
after
it.
2 kids.
So
Got it.
many playlists.
Yeah. Done and done.
A locked door. That's how we're
No, but I mean, I like where Remy and Charley are going. I am a fan of it. But I do share in some of Ryan's concern that Remy,
He's too good.
Yeah.
that there's just something maybe that he hasn't.
Completely disclosed.
But maybe it's nothing that is our business at this point in the
And what's wrong?
relationship.
I'm just saying. I think I'm just thinking. I guess I'm thinking more of like storytelling wise. We have seen every other character
shoot
go
or drop.
through, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm just like the way stories work is that if everyone else has gone through some type of trouble, or not necessarily trouble, but like a
He's
character.
lost his wife.
Right, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like that.
That's kinda deep.
It's not the same as like Vi was another one of those characters, but then we
a
saw
character flaw.
Yeah, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. So character flaw. Like we finally saw Vi's
There
when
you go.
she was like her and Darla, and then her kind of not letting go. And Remy is the only one who doesn't have one. And I'm like, the way storytelling works, that is a red flag.
Now
For me.
that I will say,
It's
Yeah, you're
more
saying that's a red
logical.
very
flag.
astute,
Yeah.
very true, very true.
I
I
was
will
a pass on
confirm
that
that.
Hey, I'm just saying, I was a film minor, so.
There it is. I will
Minor.
confirm
If you're a
that.
creative
Emphasis
writing
on the
major.
minor.
The minor was the theory.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. He missed that part.
That one was what you just said. That was major.
Yeah, got it.
That was
yeah.
major.
I only took a
There's a
couple
difference.
classes in it. But no, but that's what I'm saying. I just feel like the fact that he is the only character left to not have a character flaw tells me that this is about to happen.
Why
The
can't he
shoe's
just
about
be
to
a
drop.
good Southern boy?
I was
Doesn't
gonna
Charlie?
say, yeah.
Because that's not
Doesn't
the
she
way.
deserve
I'm
someone like
sorry.
this after her last
I was gonna say
relationship?
maybe
This isn't
Charlie
Disney.
has like enough
Princesses
flaws for
don't
both of
exist.
them.
That's not.
She's pretty high strung.
Yeah, but I don't know.
maybe not.
So I guess can we get? We can't
can't
get
tell us
any
anything.
insight. But I'm just
Professor,
like, right now.
water irrigation specialist.
Yeah, it's good.
One night, or excuse me, one day we were actually talking it, and we were asked the question, give an adjective that describes your character. And I said resuscitator. And Ava said, "Ooh, I love that."
Nice.
Because he resuscitates the land, and consequently he resuscitates Charley.
Yeah.
He is exactly what she needs at that time, and I think that I'm pretty sure that we're gonna find. We're definitely gonna look into his crates and see, what we uncover.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure that there's gonna be, no person is perfect.
No,
Yeah.
Of course.
Everyone does have character flaws.
Right.
But this guy is just a salt of the earth guy. His life is about service. He's a Mason, which was what brought him and
Ernest,
Ernest together, and why
Right.
they were friends despite the age gap. And he is one of the few men, and I think I'm sure that we're going to be very careful with him because Remy is a necessary vision for what a man is for women who are in need of one.
Yeah.
And I think that he is like the thing that women aspire to get, to be with, to be around. He represents the kind of covering that every woman wants in their life from a man.
That's
So
important to
I'm
see.
sure that we're going to be very careful about how we deal with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
That reminds me of.
That makes sense.
Did you ever see the Moesha show?
Love the Moesha.
Yeah.
Do you know the show?
Great show.
And
Yeah.
they were talking about the father Frank, how he was like sort of Remy-esque, the good, upstanding man, and then the writers made him have like a secret son in affair, and the audience felt like they lost something.
Lost
and, like,
something.
They lost something.
Totally.
So I feel like that's
Okay,
sort of...
Yeah.
that, and
Definitely.
I can appreciate that. While I'm sure he is flawed, because everyone is.
Yeah, for sure.
I
They
can
don't wanna be
appreciate
too.
him not being too flawed.
Yeah.
Because then you're right. It would
For sure.
ruin that.
It will be right now. Our audience is so married to what he represent. Like he represents. Ironically, he was saying in one episode. He says, "You know, this is good. You know, this is good soil. You know, this is good. Remy is good soil. He is good soil. And what I'm sure will get people to be absolutely crushed is if we see that he is just dried up dirt and not soil.
Right.
As a female viewer of the show, I completely agree with everything you just said.
Like, please don't mess
As a
up
female
Remy.
viewer who's looking for a man, I'm like, yes, yes, do not ruin Remy right now.
I am pretty sure Ava is way too smart for that.
Yeah.
She's way too smart for that. But again, with that said, I'm sure that we're going to be introduced to a couple, a few of his flaws, but they will be flaws that, people will go, okay, well, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
He's
I
not
get that.
Davis.
Yeah.
We got Davis for
At least he's
for
not
all
Davis.
that trifling.
And speaking of Davises and kins of Davis, we're gonna talk about Micah and his like little
Fun segue.
Kiki.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And his little
Kiki 12.
Kiki. I mean,
Twirl.
so I
It's
mean,
Kiki Twirl.
Oh, twirl.
yeah, Kiki Twirl. Get it right. Come on.
Yeah,
How are you gonna
twirl.
follow
She's
her
not-
on
yeah,
IG
yeah,
if
you
you
don't
don't get the
find
name
I
out.
don't
right?
follow minors on IG. So
Is that
let's
that
pause
the way
that.
we pick people up nowadays?
Wait, I was gonna ask that side of the
Yes.
table if that's how you guys pick people up
I don't
these
think
days.
That is, I'm like, I don't
Don't
ask for
pick
people's
anyone
number. I
up.
was like, what's your IG? What's your Snapchat? I don't get
That
their
is
numbers
so
anymore.
weird to
Really?
me.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Well,
they don't have
see,
a
I feel like it's easier to do
that
that.
generation.
Well, I do that as
you
like
serious?
no, listen. I do that as like
You're
a
serious?
safeguard because I'm like the number is like too personal sometimes. So like, oh, what's your number? Sometimes they don't want to give it to you. Like, what's your IG?
I feel
what's
like I would
your
hear that
social
and say,
media
oh,
because
you
it's
wanna-
more light.
I think,
you know,
and
less
I'm not a
pressure.
woman, but I feel like I would hear that and think, oh, you just want to see what my pictures look like. I feel like I would take offense.
It's
I
a
would-
less like aggressive way of staying
Interesting.
contact and communication, in
Okay.
my mind.
I hear
know
what
what I
you're
mean?
saying,
Yeah.
and I accept what you're saying, but I
Disagree.
disapprove of
Okay.
it.
Not only do I disagree,
I don't know.
I just, I
yes,
mean,
my
call
name
me
is Tiona. I don't approve this
don't
message.
approve this message.
All right.
Because if
fair
someone
enough.
asked me for my IG, I'd be like, well, let me see yours. How many
Let me see
followers you
yours.
got?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, I think
don't
that's-
come on my IG like, what, are you going to like stuff from 32 weeks ago? That's
Probably.
weird.
But I mean, it is that generation. I mean, like,
is that
it is.
generation.
But I
I
think
mean-
it's weird.
Gen Y.
Totally that generation. Yeah.
I think I'm anti-love. This episode solidified it because I was so annoyed with their relationship. I
Who,
was like,
Micah and Kiki?
I was so annoyed every
Young
time they were
love?
on.
Young
Every
love.
time they were
It
on, I was
doesn't
like,
give you
remind
little
me.
stop.
butterflies
When
from
you
like
were
when
a
you
kid?
were a kid.
No,
and-
because I
Pass
didn't.
notes?
I think maybe I just am just not a loving person. I don't know.
Who hurt you, bro?
I don't know.
Let's talk
I
about
know. Let's
this.
talk.
Yeah.
No,
You
I
gotta
guess
work this
Ryan,
out.
the
who
thing-
hurt you?
Exactly. The thing is that I
got
think
something
I
to
just
say.
I know.
The daddy issues?
Yeah, 100%. The thing is that I'm saying I think that they annoy me because I'm like, just get to it. You obviously like each other. I think I'm just at the
But
point
wait,
where
but
I don't like
get
it.
It's
to
okay.
what?
Right?
Just say you like each other and be
They're
done with
just
it.
men.
They're dancing around.
Well, you know, there was such a thing. There was such a thing as courting.
Courtship, yes.
Yes.
And
Right?
yeah.
And this is this generation's
Courting.
My grandma asks if I'm courting anyone all the time. So it's funny.
Dude,
Not
it's
that
such
you're.
a-
I'm just like, it's like.
I'm
my
gonna
grandma's
tell
like,
you,
who
you
courting?
know
I'm
what?
like, grandma.
one of the things that we're missing in our society is
The
courting.
process, yeah.
Yeah.
The process.
I just read an article
We
about
get there too fast.
the I think it was like the 9 things from dating in the 90s that we need to bring back. And one of them was, actually talking on the phone and
Oh.
getting to know the person and
Man.
courting
Right.
them. And
I
I was
like
like,
that.
man, I remember sneaking like
On the phone,
9 o'clock at
man.
night. Like,
Yes.
I'm not supposed to be on the phone anymore, but I'm still like in my bed,
under
like,
the covers.
oh yeah, like
I
whispering
guess
so my parents don't hear.
That's more so what I mean by get to it. It's that like I'm like, okay, let's just get past this whole awkward dance. I'm like, just admit that you like each other and then
I thought
go
it
from
was
there.
cute.
I don't mean necessarily like jump into a relationship, but I mean like,
can
we
we
just
see
get
if he likes her? Like
Right.
it's day one.
Day
Whatever.
one. Hour.
Yeah,
First hour.
she's cute, but like maybe she has an ugly personality and he doesn't actually like her. He's got to get to know if he likes her.
So
or
let me
not.
go like your pictures on IG. Okay.
You sound just like him.
I tried. I've been practicing. Whatever.
No, I'm all for young love,
Go
and I
ahead,
thought that
Micah.
was really cute.
Yes, Micah, get it.
Yeah,
Get it.
and
Get it.
after his last relationship, he deserves someone who's
Yeah.
not going to be sleeping with
Don't
other
be sending your
people.
little
and-
penis.
I think
cheating
it
on
also,
him.
what I love about that is that I think that the audience probably judged Micah in the beginning based on being with a Caucasian girl.
A little bit
And
of that.
what's interesting about that is you tend to get involved with things or situations that are closest proximity,
Your environment.
right?
Right.
So if these are the people, and let's face it, with the kind of money that his parents make and the kind of school that he was in,
Right.
there weren't very many black and brown folks.
Exactly.
So now, what do you do? And so now you sit there and you have a conversation with someone, you strike up conversation, there's commonality,
Yep.
and then you go, all right, cool.
Works too.
Yeah,
This works.
cool, all right. And there it is, right?
Exactly.
The absolute same thing happens here. Proximity, boom, she gets out of the car, she tosses at him, he's like, whoa, wait, what?
What are these feelings?
and now he's like, whoa, nobody ever really, this is honest conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happening here. And I have an appreciation for that because no one ever talks to me that way. Like I could feel his
No
energy.
pretense.
Like
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
ever,
Like,
this is real.
Yeah.
Nobody, and she walks off and you see him, he's like, yo,
What do I do? Yeah.
this is different. And then I love it because it obviously is not about, in 1 second, it wasn't about, oh, I can't get with that because she's black.
Yeah.
He was
Never.
smitten right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like he was like, and look at me with the courting smitten. Yeah, there it is.
According-
Like he really was blown away by that. Like he was immediately drawn in. Like he was lit.
I think that was.
There it
That's
is.
better.
So,
That's
so
modern.
I love seeing this because it does speak to a lot of what is happening, which is what's in your environment. And the thing that you encounter most are probably the things you're gonna that you're gonna engage with.
Definitely. I think that probably endeared him to a lot of fans tonight,
Yeah.
seeing that scene.
It was nice to see him get a win because I feel like he's had so many there's so much
Take a lot
heart.
of L's.
It is nice to have him finally have like a moment where it's like, oh wow, like something's going right and your mom's not on your back and it's just like, oh, so
and
I'll
who
give
has
that.
he really had to hang out with in this
Yeah.
new city that he moved
Right,
to?
that's true.
Besides his family and his mom, and it feels like his mom's smothering him right now and won't let him go live with his aunt, and there's all this stuff. So it's nice to just make a friend in this territory, even if it doesn't end up being anything romantic.
He still got that IG follower, so.
Yeah,
The
I mean, that's
ratio's
one
good.
more. I feel like he's not lacking on followers, given
Right,
who his
right,
dad
right.
is.
He hangs out with Jaden
He hangs out with
Smith.
Jaden
He's
Smith.
good.
Like I feel like he's good on IG followers.
All right,
you know?
whatever. That's just my problem.
I feel like you need to say something now.
But I do want to touch on this part too of the episode tonight. There was some bodies found after the storm on the land.
Couple bodies.
That
And-
threw me. I think what shocked me about it was that it was a murder.
Yes.
Because I think maybe I just
You thought they
didn't.
died in the storm or
Yeah,
something?
and I was like, and I
Right.
think the
You're
fact.
ready to blame Charley for killing some workers.
No.
Not letting them go
They
home.
should've-
Yep, Charlie did it. But I'm saying like the fact that.
It was actually Remy, who's the son of Ernest.
Right. Well, are we into predictions? Because
no, no, we're not.
because that
We
thought
did it,
crossed my mind.
Or here's some more Game of Thrones
Here
theory
we
for
go.
you.
Let's go.
He was. He's like.
Remy actually kills the other two sons of Ernest.
Oh.
Oh.
They were love children.
Right.
So
He
now
finds
he
out
claims
he's
the
like
farm.
he's
He
gonna
killed
eliminate
them
them
to take.
so that
So he's gonna
You
kill
see what
everyone
you
now.
dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
So
now
Sugar
Remy
Ray
is
is a serial
impersonating.
killer.
Game of Thrones. Boom.
There it
Boom.
is.
Boom.
And that's the show, people.
Yeah.
That's
There you
King
go.
Sugar.
Hey, we're done
Sugar
here, guys.
Crown.
Thank you.
The game of sugar.
Right, with Sugar, exactly.
No, but one thing I know, I love that. But no, one thing
They're
I
on it,
think
man.
because like we find out later and that it was like there's a suspect that was just a meth addict, and I feel like that is like a throwaway, and the fact that
I
they
felt
were
that too.
murdered,
Right. Oh,
it's
just a meth
it's
addict.
gotta be it
It's
can't be a
something
meth.
deeper.
It's got I feel like it's gotta be something deeper because
I
I'm
agree
like.
with you.
Because for it to just be written off as a meth addict, that's like, well, then why not just kill him with the
We
storm?
were saying we
That-
think it's Sam Landry.
Oh yeah, it has to, or Remy. But yeah,
Okay,
I mean, no,
he was
I
like-
think
It always
I
comes
know,
back
right?
to
Right.
He did it.
Remy
Yeah.
did it. He's too good.
But
No, but yeah.
I
sorry.
don't think I necessarily saw it as a toss away as opposed to it just showing like this point, like there was no point for them to have to have died in this way. Like the fact that they were there late and, you know, this meth addict attacked them. It's like one of those, what's the term? Like a
Merciless or
like
senseless
a
death?
senseless death. And I was okay with that because I don't know why I was okay with it. I was just
You think it's
okay with
more
it because
tied
it
to
was
the
just more of
story
like
of
the
the
story of like
farmer,
the
the-
environment that they live
Yeah,
in, and
yeah.
here are two people and a family that didn't know their own
Yeah, that's
workers,
very sad.
to not
Very
know their
sad.
names, to not have any sort of documentation on if they have families, who's their next of kin, who do we call right now?
yeah.
If they had gotten hurt out in the field, who's their emergency contact? The fact that they didn't have any of this, and it turned out to just be a senseless crime. I think that was the deeper meaning of.
But you don't think a hurricane would have done the same, like suffice for the same purpose? Because I feel like
Yeah,
they
but-
still stayed late and the hurricane killed them. So I feel like the fact that it's a murder is important.
That would have put a lot of the blame on Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay,
For
I'll
not
give you
letting
that.
them
I'll give you
leave.
that.
So I didn't want it
avoid.
to have been
I'll
the
give you that.
hurricane because I didn't want.
And
Charlie
I'm not-
already feels bad, you know,
I'm
right
not trying
now.
to blame Charlie. I was that wasn't where my mind was
No,
going. But
just in my mind, I'm thinking if I was the one who was like, no, you can't leave.
You've already placed the blame on Remy anyway.
Yeah, you're already
I know
finding
your
a way.
mindset.
Remy was booed up on the wicker chair, but somehow he snuck out and went and murdered these workers, okay?
You think it's more just like a snapshot or screenshot of sort of looking at the
The
migrant
environment.
workers
Yeah, and
like
how,
the
you know, they're-
undocumented workers and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I think it was a.
And the value placed on their lives.
Yeah, I mean,
'cause
we learned all this stuff about their family. I mean, I was in tears
Yeah, it
during
was
the
very
scene
sad.
at the table. Like, that was, I didn't even understand a lot of what was being said, but you understood it,
Right.
you know, when they were speaking Spanish.
I thought it was a great device to have them speaking Spanish, not have subtitles. It wasn't about what they were saying. It was about what they were speaking to, which was, you know, these were family men. They sacrificed for the betterment of their families, which is a lot of our
Yeah.
stories. So while it may have been in Spanish, and while you may not have understood word for word, there was a universal struggle that they were speaking to. There was a universal space of grief that we all come to when we, you know, get to these, you know, forks in the road.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great device not having any subtitles or anybody like explain it away too soon. They really sat in it and spoke their truth. It was, yeah, I'm speaking to you in Spanish, and yes, I can totally see how hurt you are. I thought it was phenomenal.
It was a great scene.
It was.
It reminded me of last week's scene with Darla, just,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
all emotional, giving her big thank you to the family. And it's just, that's one of the things I love about the show. Everything's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Not only is the cast beautiful, but the shots are beautiful.
Yeah.
So
you know, just the
pretty.
picture, the story,
pacing.
everything, the pacing,
Yeah.
everything
I
is
love
so
I
it.
beautiful.
told people right from the beginning when we were probably shooting our third episode, I said, this show is going to gain so much traction because it's going to be like, it's not going to be typical television because Ava doesn't know how to do that.
Right.
She's
doing
she's an indie baby.
Yeah.
She doesn't do now. She's obviously intelligent enough to learn how to do that.
Right.
She could do
She
that
has her own
if she
vision
wanted to,
that she wants to.
but that's not her lane. This is a movie every single week.
Yes.
And you guys actually worked on a movie together before.
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. Thank you.
Middle of nowhere.
So what was it like reconnecting back with Ava?
It was awesome because her first movie, I Will Follow, starred my wife.
Okay.
And
Sally Richardson.
Whitfield.
Sorry.
Whitfield.
Sorry. Richardson, Whitfield, my bad.
Y'all see
In
this?
another life.
So it was phenomenal because she talked about the experience that she had with Ava doing it. And then Ava said, she said, hey, would you do me a favor? And this was like after everything, was over. I said, of course. She said, I have a role that I need for you to do in this movie. Will you do it? I said, of course. So I'm on my way, to the set. I have no idea. I don't have a script. I don't know what the role is.
Nice. Okay.
Nothing. I don't know. Nothing.
You're a pro, right?
I get there. She's like, here's your stuff. And it literally was, she explained it to me right then, right there. And we shot it. And she only recently relented this to me. She said, that was the first time that I had a scene done and the entire cast was standing and applauding.
Wow.
She said, that's when I knew we had to do something else together. And then, boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Queen
Sugar.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Queen Sugar.
That's awesome.
I love that
You guys gotta
story.
check that movie.
That's
Check that movie out. Middle of Nowhere.
Yeah. Okay, guys, you have 30 seconds to explain to me your Ralph and Darla feelings after their conversation.
So we gotta wrap up.
Because I know y'all got something to say.
I'm here for it. I like Darla. I think she's trying to make amends. I'm willing to forgive Ralph Angel and let him I don't
So
know,
upset
for
about
his
it.
past actions, I guess. But the thing.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah. So
Begrudgingly.
The thing is, I don't
forgive you.
judge him for going to jail. I judge him for keep making mistakes, it seems like. But whatever, only have 30 seconds. So I'm here for Ralph Angel and Darla. I think they can co-parent together and be strong. And I think she needs him in her life so she can find that straight and narrow path and support.
Yes, I like their relationship together, but I am more curious about Ralph Angel and Raina's relationship, and I'm excited that she came back.
The Spanish teacher?
Right. And
How you gonna call her up one day and then still be over here talking to Darla?
But yeah, so
Ralph Angel's a player.
He also had Roberta. So
Yeah.
I'm just I'm curious to see, because I feel like that relationship has kind of gone to the wayside for now, and I believe that is gonna come back. I would imagine so. So I'm excited to see them, and because I think Darla is growowing and changing, but I don't think I want them back together.
So
in
interesting
that
to me
relationship.
how quickly you guys were both able to forgive
Darla.
and Darla
But not
and
Ralph
like
Angel.
be like, oh, she's trying to be better and she's doing all this stuff, but Ralph Angel, y'all still.
That is a little interesting.
Listen,
I think
Right? I think it has something to do with her being so pretty.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
it
She
could
is
could be a little sexist.
Yeah, it feels a little
maybe
sexist.
I'm blinded by the beauty. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you say?
I said beauty, not.
Oh.
I said beauty.
Wow.
Wow.
We almost could have.
Almost.
Yeah.
All right.
This turned
I'm
into
being
another
special.
show.
And on that note, maybe we should move into some predictions. Huh?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Predictions, Ryan.
I
What you got?
no, I literally did.
Not Game of Thrones.
It's not Game of
Let's
Thrones,
keep it
but
random.
after our conversation, I will change my prediction. I really did say, did Remy do it when I was talking about the murders? I literally wrote that. But after our conversation, I'm like, no, you're right. That's not going to be a thing. But I do think that those murders were not just a meth addict. I believe Sam or someone is involved, because I feel like the hurricane could have killed them and the scene could have happened the same way if that was just what it was to have their moment. I feel like the fact that they were murdered is important, and I don't think that it was just like I'll write it off. So
Okay.
I'm just looking at a reaction.
You
from
always
our
have
guys.
to
I was
look.
like-
I don't know.
My prediction is I think that Charlie's going to let Micah go stay with Nova, but I think something bad is going to happen in the 9th, and there will be drama between the sisters because of what goes down.
Interesting.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. And your prediction?
I don't know. I hate making predictions. Okay.
I mean, none of us know.
My prediction is that if something has to be wrong with Remy, if he has to have a fault or a flaw, I would like it to not be anything that he purposely did. So maybe his cane does not profit as much as he thought.
Man,
Or
that's
maybe it's
supersonic
not.
cane, bro.
Maybe it's not water resistant to all the rain that they've gotten. Maybe whatever he said about the humidity and water getting together, and he used a.
We thought you said
proper,
Wi-Fi.
So
Yeah,
we were like,
I
what?
thought you used a term that I'm not familiar with because I don't farm.
Like, what you
So
talking about?
humidity makes Wi-Fi.
So maybe that's how Wi-Fi works.
We
Oh
need
my
to
God.
go. Why are we not funding this? Yeah.
But no, I would be okay with something like that
Right, okay.
being, you know, I could see Charley
cause.
getting, you know, super
Right.
upset. We wasted all this money and being mad at him for that. But it's not anything that he directly tried to do.
Okay.
We'll see about that.
I have a prediction too.
All right.
What is it?
I predict that there's going to be 13 episodes. And I further predict that we're going to have a second season
With 16 episodes.
Yeah.
of 16
What?
episodes.
Have you guys gotten any scripts for the second season yet? You know anything?
We don't have any scripts, but I have script ideas.
Okay.
Oh.
There's been talks.
Don't worry, we're gonna tickle torture him later to get it out of him.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Fun.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Dondre,
much.
for
so
coming
much.
in.
My
This has been
pleasure.
so much fun. Where can everyone keep up with you on social media to talk about Chimmy?
If you want to reach out to me about Chimmy and about all things Queen Sugar, you can reach out to me on IG at AllDondre, which is ALLDONDRE, and on Twitter at Dondre Whitfield, DONDRE WHITFIELD, and Facebook at Dondre Whitfield.
Nice.
Boom.
Boom.
And I don't have a social media person. It's just me. I told them
He-
earlier
we've
today, I was
literally
like,
been
yo,
watching
I
him.
can't keep up because they killing it right now. But I promise you, I will be up tonight
Facebook and lives.
and getting it in.
He
So,
Facebook's live a lot.
yes, I
Yes.
do. I'm going to probably do something on Twitter tonight too, so look for that. Talking about how strange these folks were. So
He's
look
not
out for
lying.
that.
He's not
Just,
lying.
just don't forget to mention our
handles?
That's
Yeah.
it. At AfterBuzz TV. Boom.
And also at On With Omari on Twitter and IG. Also follow me on Snapchat at Omari B. And I do have to say that Low Down Dirty Shame is like my favorite movie of all time. So please
there it
pass
is.
that on to the
There it is.
missus.
Dude, do you know how awkward it is for like one of your boys to be like, you go to like his house and there's like a poster of your wife on his wall?
This is weird. This
It's
should
like
come
one
down.
of the greatest movies
I don't
ever.
think we can be friends anymore. This is awkward.
This is awkward.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan with 2 Instagram and on Instagram at Instagram.
And you can find me at the Tiona Hobson on Twitter and Instagram. And make sure you guys follow us at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.